At the end of 1800 and especially in 1915, between the Ottoman Empire and the Armenian populations inside the empire, things evolved drastically, and the Turkish decided to exterminate all the Armenians that were in the territory. But that territory was not only Turkish, because Armenians for hundreds of years had settled and lived there. During those massacres, those deportations, also numerous other Christians lost their lives, like the Assyrian Christians, because the hatred against the Christian religion also turned against other Christians, not only Armenians. It wasn't only an annihilation, a forced deportation of a population, but the annihilation of a tradition, of a culture that had millennial roots. To lose one's own culture, you lose one's own identity, and it's not something you get back easily. The Armenians were also not living on the Anatolian plateau or in Asia Minor, but they were also in Armenia, in the so-called Russian sphere, and also in the diaspora. So that this national disaster had tragic consequences, but it was not definitive. And from these ashes, the Armenian rebirth began. In Cappadocia, the Gorem Valley and its surroundings present rock-hewn chapels and churches that were developed during the 4th century and the Turkish invasion. Hermits and small anchoritic communities settled in cells dug into the rock. Also, subterranean villages were made to resist Muslim raids. Some of the churches built inside the caves still show series of paintings and decorations of high-quality Byzantine art. The Koranlik church was also named the Dark Church for the little light in its interior. It was built in the 6th or 7th century, and the cycle of frescoes date back to the 11th century. It's reported that it was used as a dovecot until the 1950s. There are no Christians left in Gorem. Some of the caves are houses, and many were transformed into hotels. Compared to 10 years ago, the situation of the Christians is improving, but there is still a lot to do. There is the problem of unequal citizenship. Muslims enjoy many things that Christians do not enjoy, because they don't have rights. For example, the seminary of the Greek Patriarchate of Istanbul is closed, as they cannot have new priests. Also, the property of the churches. Churches had a lot of property. Most of their property was confiscated by the state and were not returned. A lot of things that are awaiting a solution. We hope that in time things might change. Therefore, if we keep going this way, slowly there will be no more Christians left. Those who succeed move to Europe or they emigrate. Dialogue is on the level of daily life. I believe this is the best way for dialogue and for peaceful coexistence. So we are living together in mutual respect. Of course, it's not possible to exclude the case of a fanatic.
Ma normalmente qui a Izmir, dobbiamo dire che essendo una città con una tradizione
But Smyrna is a city with a cosmopolitan, pluricultural, pluriracial tradition.
Culturale, eccetera. Esiste questa accettazione vicendevole.
Mutual acceptance exists that does not happen in some other areas in Turkey. Sometimes reading statistics or reports in the newspapers, there are reasons to shudder. 60% of the population says they wouldn't like to have a Christian family as neighbors. That means a complete closure, a complete non-acceptance of the diversity of others. While here in Smyrna, the attitude to exclude, to reject, doesn't exist.
Ho avuto dei giovani che venivano non per motivi religiosi.
In my experience in Turkey, I was in contact with many young people, mainly for cultural reasons than for religious ones. So we were talking about culture and other subjects.
Io ho notato che questa gioventù
Young people in Turkey are really thirsty for truth and are no longer willing to accept all that is said to them.
non sono più
For example, it used to be what the Quran says was enough. It's not so any longer among the young intelligent people, among students.
il Corano non
The
dice
Quran
così.
says something, but now they want to question. They want to know more.
Come turco cristiano, per i turchi una cosa impensabile.
To be a Turkish Christian is unthinkable for a Turk. To them, Turkish means Muslim. They cannot think of a Turkish Christian.
Cristiano, cioè cultura e religione come fossero una cosa sola.
So culture and religion are one thing. Therefore, it takes time to explain that not all the Germans are Christians.
Possono essere anche tedeschi musulmani, come possono essere anche i turchi,
There might also be German Muslims.
possono essere anche i turchi cristiani. Sì, di cittadinanza tutti siamo turchi.
Of course, most of us are Turkish citizens. We live inside Turkey.
Siamo turchi, però bisogna far capire che cristiani che vivono qui
But we have to make them understand that we did not come here from outer space or from another country. We are here.
sono qui, sono stati sempre qui.
We have always been here. Before the arrival of the Turks, we were here. We have always been
La
here.
Repubblica Turchia, noi siamo rimasti all'interno di questo territorio,
Now it's Turkey. We remained inside this
allo
land.
stesso diritto, alla stessa parità come tutti gli altri.
We accept being Turkish, but with the same rights, at the equal level of the other citizens, either by law or by fact.
You can order a copy of the preceding program through the EWTN Religious Catalog website. Log on to EWTNreligiouscatalog.com 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or call 1-800-854-6316.